Okay. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Nice to have you here. First thing right off the bat, on your bio, it says somewhere in the world, every 30 seconds, one of your novels is sold. That's a pretty amazing statement. How did they figure that out?
Well, they have sales records. They know how many books have sold. This is a figure they gave to me a couple of years ago, and I said once they gave it to me, I said, can we kind of keep that up and let's see if it holds? And it has held. They know every book that's sold all across the world. And you just do the math, and it came down to every 30 seconds for the last 21 years, which is kind of amazing.
That is incredible. Yeah. So you've been writing for a long time, I think. Yeah. How many years have you been writing?
34.
34 years. Okay. And you have how many books published?
Well, I've been published for 21 of those 34 years, and I have 24 books published right now.
The one we're going to be talking about today is called the Atlas Maneuver, and it's part of a series, Cotton Malone. Tell us about Cotton Malone. Who is he?
He's a retired Justice Department agent who lives in Copenhagen, and he runs an old bookshop, and he gets himself into trouble quite a bit. I created him in the Templar Legacy in 2006. He's an interesting guy. He's not a Daniel Craig kind of guy. He's more a George Clooney kind of guy. He's an ordinary fella that can do extraordinary things when called upon. And I think that's why readers like him. He is not exceptional, but he can be when he needs to be. And he's had 18 adventures. This is his 18th. Readers shouldn't be put off by that, though. You don't have to read the other the other 17 to know what this book's about. You can pick me up anywhere. You can actually start with this book, and you'll be fine. And he's a fun guy. I enjoy him. I have a good time with him. And he goes around the world and he gets himself in trouble and solves a lot of problems along the way.
So you said he's not like Daniel Craig, so he's not James Bondish.
No, he's not superhuman. No, he doesn't work out and he doesn't have any of that. No, he's much more of an ordinary kind of guy, but he can do extraordinary things when he needs to, and he can get himself out of trouble and he can figure things out. And that's what kind of makes him, I think, more, I don't know, readers feel more in touch with him and they really like him.
Is he like Columbo?
Not that bad. No, not that far off. Not where he disarms you by thinking that he doesn't know what he's doing. No, but he's a little more lighthearted. Yeah, he's lighthearted, but he can be very serious at times. But he's not super serious. He's not super silly either, and he's certainly not kind of scatterbrained. He's a very focused guy.
So where did the character come from? Is this somebody you knew, or sort of a composite of somebody you know?
He's basically me. I
He's
used my
you?
personality to
Okay.
create him because when I created him in the Templar Legacy, I didn't know I was going to get to do more books. I thought maybe we do one, maybe two if we're lucky. Here we are 18 later. I just used myself. And he came to me one night in Copenhagen. I was eating dinner at the Cafe Nordon, which is right on Hybroad Plads, which is a square in Copenhagen. And it was a lovely evening. And he just popped into my brain. There he was. And he's going to be a retired Justice Department agent. He's going to own an old bookshop right over there. And he's going to get himself into trouble a lot. And I wrote all that down on a napkin. I came back home and I wrote the Templar Legacy.
Had you published any other work before that?
Three books before that, yes. My first three novels, Amber Room, Romanoff Prophecy, and Third Secret, all were very successful. But the Templar Legacy kicked me up a notch and kicked things up way up a notch. So it was kind of my breakout book.
Tell us a little about your writing process. I know everybody is different. We've had many authors on this show. David Baldacci, who I'm sure you know, has been on a few times, and he told us about his. And everybody seems to be a little bit different. What is your style or your process for
Well,
writing?
I'm a morning person, so I get up early. And when I was a lawyer, I got up and went to the office at 6 o'clock, and I worked from 6 to 9 every morning. And then after that, I would go to I practice law. I do work the rest of the day. Today, I work about 7:30 to about 11. I take a little time off. I come back about 12 or so. I go back and I work to about 3. So I put in about 6 hours a day. Try to do my 1,000 words a day. After that, I do research to get ready for the next day, and I keep doing that every day, 5 days a week. And if I do that religiously, about 10 months from now, I will have a first draft of a novel that I can work with.
Is this series set in present time or is it historical?
Yes. No, it's present day. It's a modern day thriller that deals with something from the past, something forgotten, something you may not know a lot about, but I hope you want to know more about. And in this case, it's Yamashita's gold, which is a treasure from World War II. The Japanese buried large quantities of gold, silver, and other metals in the Philippines at the end of 1945 that the Allies found, some of which, and it was used by the American intelligence community for many decades in something called the Black Eagle Trust. And that all figures into a modern day thriller centered around Bitcoin. This book really deals with Bitcoin. I'm fascinated by it. And this is the first thriller that I know of where Bitcoin becomes the plot and is very central to the whole plot of the novel.
Okay, I don't want to give away the plot, but how does Bitcoin and World War II gold connect?
Ooh, I can't tell you that. That would give away
That
the
would
plot.
give away the plot. Okay.
But they do connect. They do connect. And Cotton Malone gets hooked up, or really just gets drawn in to a war between the world's oldest bank and the CIA. And they're going at it over the gold and over the Bitcoin. And he gets drawn into this war. And along the way, he comes face to face with something from his past that he thought he would never see again, but he does. And he has to deal with this in a very big way.
So are you a Bitcoin investor?
I had to get, I knew that would be asked during this. So yes, I have a little so that I'm part of it. But I'm not a huge in it, no, because frankly, I didn't understand it. But now I do. I have a much greater understanding of it. And the reader's going to get a much greater understanding of it as well after reading the novel.
Let me touch on your nonprofit called History Matters. Tell us a little about that.
Well, we started it, my wife Elizabeth and I started it in 2009. We go around and we help communities raise money for historic preservation. And we do that usually through a writer's workshop that we teach. And the writers buy their way in with a contribution to the cause. We do dinners, galas, luncheons, all of which you buy in with a contribution. All of that money goes to the project we're there to support. We don't charge expenses. We don't charge to come. We actually pay our own way to do that. We've raised about $3 million for about 80 different projects across the country. If anyone has a project, they can go to my website, steveberry.org, click on the History Matters icon and send me an email and we'll see if we can come help you out.
Okay, so historical preservation, so this is keeping old buildings, old theaters, things like that from the wrecking ball?
Oh, we've done all kinds of things. We've done buildings, posters, books, banners, cemeteries, buildings, you name it. We've raised money for it.
Let me hit just one of these and then we got to kind of wrap it up. I know we're running a little late.
That's okay.
On your bio, it says, what do you read for pleasure?
I like thrillers. I enjoy thrillers. So I read Jim Rollins. I read Dan Brown, Cussler, a Grisham book, a Baldacci book. I mean, he's a friend, so I love to read his stuff. Lee Child, I love his stuff. I don't get to read a lot of fiction, maybe 5 or 6 books a year, but I enjoy them when I do.
Well, I think on that we're going to wind this down. The book is called The Atlas Maneuver. Is it out yet?
It is out in stores everywhere, and they can find out more about me and that book and all my books at steveberry.org.
Okay, great. Well, Steve, thanks so much for coming on the show. And you're on a media tour now. You've got a few more interviews today, yeah?
Just a few.
Okay. Well, thanks again. Nice meeting you and talking with you. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me.